caught Chapo's attention. Kate Del Castillo had once played a drug lord on a telenovela. Chapo was a fan. They kept in touch through text and social media. Last August, Del Castillo and Penn met, and she agreed to arrange a meeting with El Chapo. In October, Penn, Del Castillo, and two others traveled by small plane and truck into cartel-controlled territory. They were escorted by one of El Chapo's sons.
I was baffled at his will to see us. Nonetheless,
Because you thought he might be putting himself at risk.
yeah, I mean, we followed the protocols laid out by them in terms of communications and so on, as well as travel.
So as far as you know, you had nothing to do, and your visit had nothing to do with his recapture?
Here's the things that we know. We know that the Mexican government they've been very humiliated by the original escape. They were clearly very humiliated by the notion that someone found him before they did. Well, nobody found him before they did. We're not smarter than the DEA or the Mexican intelligence. We had a contact upon which we were able to facilitate an invitation that allowed us in.
What we know now from transcripts of texts released by the Mexican government is that El Chapo was interested in the actress. He didn't even know who Sean Penn was. Was it naive of you, to believe that you could come to Mexico, meet with Kate Del Castillo, and go see El Chapo without somebody knowing about it?
I assumed they knew about it. And I say so in the article. I was stunned that he would risk our trip. I was stunned.
El Chapo met with them, and he agreed to a future meeting, including a formal interview with Sean Penn 8 days later. When the manhunt grew more intense, the face-to-face interview became too risky. Instead, Penn sent a list of questions, and El Chapo recorded his answers. The questions were not confrontational. They included El Chapo growing up in poverty and who he blamed for the drug problem. You understand that a lot of people would have wanted you in this conversation, in a sense, to see how he would react if you wanted to hold him accountable for his life. Did you never consider that?
Or it just means that if somebody wants me to ask the questions that they want me to ask,
Right.
well, there's that little problem we run into in life. They're not me. So,
And you had but just tell me this, did you have no interest? You didn't have any interest in understanding how he justified, felt about, made decisions, organized.
I have a fascination with all of that.
Penn's Rolling Stone article is a 10,000-word, sometimes rambling, often gripping account of the El Chapo meeting. It was published the day after Chapo was recaptured, and it quickly became the headline.
My article should not have made this much noise. El Chapo should not have been this popular a figure to read about.
Well, he was a figure that people read about and talked about before you ever went to Mexico.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
What about those who say this is his ego